Hi everyone, Wolfie Rankin here, and I'm going to talk about Blackstar today, and the fact that David Bowie's passed away and left a really big hole in our lives. And I'm not going to talk about that too much because I've blogged and tweeted and Facebooked and everything on that already and sort of got that out of my system. But, it really hurt. I was surprised that I had so much grief about it. He's been a huge influence in my life as musically, certainly earlier on, and suddenly Big Chief Bowie's not with us anymore. It's really quite hard. But what I really want to talk about today is because I make the I thought I'd do a big talk about how I felt about Bowie earlier, and then I thought, no, I'll write it down. So I blogged it instead, and I thought I'd save this for showing off my records, which is all about Blackstar, of course. I wasn't going to buy it, and I thought to myself, well, it's not really my kind of music, and I like Bowie's earlier stuff, and that's cool. A lot of us, somebody said that he was a bit like Doctor Who, that he sort of like changed into different men along the way, and we were almost like companions, and we'd join him at different moments. And some of us really liked his very early stuff, and his 70s and 80s and his 90s and so forth, and he always changed. So it doesn't matter whether you was with him for the whole journey or just fractions of it. I think, it affected us. It affected those of us who were his fans. He was having a bit of a joke with Angela Caterns, who's a reporter from ABC. And he was talking about reality, which was new at the time. And I think he was in Sydney. Was in Sydney. He was talking to her then. And there was a big ship in the harbour, like a big cruise ship. And he said, I should walk down there and get on that ship and jump off the side and kill myself. And then I'd have a #1 hit for sure. And I think now that he's gone, I think he'd be, if he could float around and see what was going on, I think he'd be highly amused that suddenly there's this great sort of like Scrabble for this record that came out. I wasn't going to get it, and one of the reasons was that I really like my coloured vinyl. Bowie was certainly in the category I collect. I've collected a lot of his records over the years, but I wasn't going to get Blackstar because it was black, and I didn't really see any point in it. But the record guy that I normally go through in England there wasn't any sign of any coloured vinyl version, and I thought, well, I don't need it. I'll just leave that, because I've bought a lot last year, and I really just sort of want to watch what I'm doing, But sort of the last couple of weeks, I had a little voice in my head going, you really should go and get Blackstar. And that little voice has said things like that to me before, and I was just going, oh, shut up, what do you know? And this time I thought, I'm going to listen to that voice. So I got on eBay and I thought, well, if anyone's got anything unusual, maybe it's already on eBay, even if I don't want to buy it from eBay. And there was this guy, and he was selling clear vinyl, Blackstar, for $90. It was the one that came off the website, apparently. And I didn't even know that there was a clear vinyl version. So I thought, well, I'm going to look into this. And I found out that Barnes & Noble were actually selling it for about $35. So I went, that's for me. And I ordered it. And the thing is, when I order records from overseas, I've got to consider the postage, because the postage is often very nearly about the same price as the record itself. So it can be quite expensive. But then I found out that JB Hi-Fi, which is just, down the road a bit, more or less, was selling it too. The clear version was on pre-order, and they had the black version as well. So a little voice was going, you have to buy both of those. I said to myself, why do I have to buy both of those when I've already ordered the clear one from America? Oh, these excuses were coming up in my head. You really got to buy them again. And I'm just, why? And I think the thing is with records is that, if you get them home and you don't really want them, you can go on eBay and you can sell them again. So I thought, well, okay, whatever. And I think part of it was that sometimes when a collector's edition comes out in Australia, it's because it's been produced here in Australia and the quantities are different and stuff, and it's just a weird nerdity sort of thing that appeals to collectors. So yeah, whatever. So I ended up ordering both of them. So I'm sort of sitting around, and I'm just waiting. And then one morning I'm in bed because I'm up most of the night, and doorbell goes, and I think, must be the postie delivering my Blackstar. Sure enough, it was, and I thought, okay, I've got it, great, excellent, and here it is. Here, if you haven't seen Blackstar yet, or just to prove that I've got it, that's it. That's the 180 gram one, which is in a gatefold sleeve, and it's got that die cut star in it and stuff. And I don't know whether we can pick this up. Maybe if I take it out of the protective packet, you can see that down there, the broken sort of star pattern. I worked out last night. I was looking at it and I realised it says Bowie, Bowie. Yeah. Bowie. I think I said something wrong then, but I'm not sure. So that's along the bottom there. So and I told a few people, and they went, "Oh, I didn't notice that." So yeah. So I got my black version, and I'm kind of tired because I was woken up, and as I said, I sleep really late, and I think I got to sleep about 4 a.m. And I thought to myself, oh, look, this is no good. I've got to go back to bed. I'm tired. So I did exactly that. Went back to bed and had a sleep. And I woke up about an hour later feeling quite foggy and so on. It's been fairly hot here too. Let's put that aside. And anyway, I got on Twitter later on, and I'm having a bit of a chat and so forth. And then this thing came up that David Bowie had died, and I went, what? And so did everybody else. And we were checking around Facebook and so forth, and his official pages weren't saying anything. And we thought, oh, it's one of those awful internet hoaxes. But then something appeared on David Bowie's Twitter and also the Facebook. And we started thinking, oh, okay, so what's going on here? None of us really wanted to believe it. We started to think maybe they've been hacked or something. So, but then his son tweeted it and so on, and we were all sort of stunned, and it was horrible. Then later on, the Americans and the English started to wake up, and the Europeans, and they started to hear the news. But we were sort of copying it all first, that maybe it had happened and maybe it hadn't. So it was really strange, and I really started to feel really odd about having Blackstar in my collection for some reason. I don't know. I just felt like it was, I don't know, a bit weird. So anyway, never mind. And then I started watching people talking about it on Discogs and eBay, and the prices of things just went right through the roof, and it was just incredible. And the clear Blackstar, the one with the lithographs, was like over $1,000. But even the ones from Barnes and Noble and here were $500 or more, and I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? Because they're not rare, and I'll get to that in a minute. But it took about a week for it to get here, but I did, in fact, just to prove again that I've actually got it. There's a clear Blackstar there. And that was the other thing that was a little bit iffy. None of the shops were saying that the clear one was on 180 gram or in a gatefold sleeve. It appeared that they might just be in a normal sleeve, but it turns out they are the full kit, which is good. So I'm glad about that. And I've got this one in my hot little hands, and I'm waiting for the Barnes and Noble one as well. So I'm thinking I'll keep them now for sure. So there's that. Now the thing is, here's a little thing about rarity. I went on eBay, and there's this guy going, it's the clear version of David Bowie's Blackstar, and there's only 4,000 of them, 4,000, 5,000. I can't really quite remember. But folks, 4,000, 5,000 is not rare, except there's a catch, and I'll get to that. First of all, here's a record that is being sold on eBay for about $1,000, $500 to $1,000. I saw one guy trying to sell it for $1,200. It's Let's Dance by David Bowie. Never mind. It's just something I was thinking, just let that go. And it was about $40 at Acme, which is just like in the city. So I went to Acme and I got a couple of them, and now they're worth a huge amount. But let me tell you something. There's only 500 of these. 500. You compare 500 to 4,000 or 5,000. Okay, 500 is really rare. 1,000 is like okay. 2,000 is kind of rare, kind of. 3,000, 3,000, 4,500. Nah, not really, folks. And I'm going to tell you something. I think there's going to be a lot of people rushing out buying this clear version of Blackstar, and for heaps and heaps of money. And I think that it will start to appear in bargain bins and things like that at some point in the future. So you might be doing the wrong thing, kind of paying that much for it. I think if you got it for the regular price, cool, leave it at that. Cool your heels and think about it for a while. And I think in years to come, you'll find it maybe somebody selling one that hasn't ever been opened for maybe about $50. You never know. That could be the case. Now, okay, I said that that 4,000 isn't really much, isn't really rare. However, imagine this. You're in a band and the band is really crap and you decide, I'm going to bring out a limited edition amount of singles, and they're going to be blue, and they're going to have sparkles in them or something. And we're going to sign each one of them and give them out to our fans or something. No, it doesn't have any fans because they're a crap band and nobody gives a shit. So, okay, there's only 20 of them, sure, fine. They're on coloured vinyl, sure, fine. But alas, they don't have the notoriety that you really need to make that ultra special. So, On the other hand, if you're a megastar and everyone in the planet knows you, just about everybody on the planet, and it's like there's 4,000 of these records, and like 10,000 people want these records, or more, maybe 1 million people. Let's say 1 million people want these records really, really badly. Then maybe it could be considered rare. But it's only sort of like a one-take thing. They're only doing it once. And even the vinyl itself, even the black vinyl, is kind of a collectible in a way. And it's got a 16-page booklet in it and all kinds of neat things. So even that can be considered okay. There's some vinyl nerds out there that will say, oh yeah, but the catalogue number's higher than the catalogue number that I've got. Most people don't give a shit, really. All they're after is the clear vinyl record by David Bowie. That's it. They're not sort of going, oh yeah, but it blah, da, 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 da. Like, and I'm not a real big nerd as far as that goes. So yeah, I'm happy with what I've got. And I reckon you will too if you get it. So, yeah, so that's it. And some people are saying it's a bit ghoulish but it happens to artists. It happened to the great painters of Europe. They'd paint things and they could barely get money to buy lunch, and they'd croak, and then their stuff was worth thousands of dollars. And it's always been a thing. It's part of the human condition, I think. So and it will calm down. So those of you who are hoping for something, I tell you what, I was wanting a Starman picture disc, and I missed out on it. And I was looking at it, I kept looking at it, and it was like $300, and I went, no, it's a bit much. But now I see it's going for like 2,000, and there was only about 500 of those made or something. So yeah, if you want to flog me a Starman disc, get in contact with me and I'll think about it. So yeah, just sort of cool down for a little while, I think might be the best thing. And you might find later on, when you least expect it, one of these David Bowie records just kind of lingering around, waiting for you to pick it up. I think that might be the best thing to do. This one here, this one's got something, go for that. And actually, I wouldn't even buy it at the moment, because things are so expensive at the moment. David Bowie's dead. It's like a horrible thing. And then, better sell all of his merchandise for the top dollar thing. No, just kind of wait and cool down, take it easy, and you might find something cool later at a reasonable price. As for David Bowie, devastated. I really feel devastated by it. He was a remarkable musician, and there's been other people, Glenn Frey today as well. Just some remarkable talent. And then I hear Kanye West is going to do a Bowie tribute album, and I think, why are we left? We really are living in hell, people. We really are. The people that call themselves artists today, shockers, quite frankly. Mind you, that's my feeling. However, no, I kind of, on the other hand, I'm sort of glad that there's musicians around, even though they're not playing the kind of music that I would necessarily go for, because somebody's got to play music. There's got to be artists in the world. And even if they're just wanking around and hoping to be rich and famous, which isn't really what music is about. It's part of it if you're successful, but I don't believe setting yourself out to be rich and famous is the goal. I think the goal is to make something that means something to someone. That's my thoughts anyway. I might be wrong. Music's a weird thing. It can be anything you want it to be or anything you don't want it to be. So anyway, that's me, and that's all I've got to say. So take care, everyone. See ya.